Yo, what is up, my programmers? I am checking in with everyone today. Let me just get some chat going. Hopefully this is going to show up on the stream somehow. I think I just want to do that. And here we go. Johan, we got her here, Nephilim. We got a human with some human lurking eyes. And we are good to go. Good to go, good to go, good to go. Cool. So the first stream of 2019, I am gonna ask you guys a ton of different questions. I feel like I don't know you guys as well as I want to know you guys. In today's stream, we are gonna go through a lot of these questions that I have planned out on a separate window. But basically, I want to know a little bit more about you guys so I can get a better feel for, you know, maybe a different teaching style. If you guys are used to studying like programming in class, and you know, classes are extremely boring, right? Let me know if you agree with that. But I'm just waiting for some more people to show up. All right, we got about 51 people. All right, so I am gonna go through this. So here's me, and here's the chat, and here are the questions. All right, cool. So a lot of people chiming in with some really good answers for how old you are. And for the most part, I feel like we have a mid-20s. We have some younger people in the 16 to 18 with Rishi. We have Johan Albrechtsen, 15. We got some young 20s. Flavio Maya, 48. That's probably one of the more senior viewers on the channel. You know, not that you're old or anything. But we got some 23, 34. So yeah, it looks like the age of the demographic on this channel is pretty broad. Seems like it's ranging from anywhere, you know, early 20s to mid 30s. And we got some, obviously some students that are still studying in college. I remember the good old days when I was a college student studying a applied mathematics major and taking a lot of computer science classes too. Definitely a fun time. Let me turn off my sound. I feel like it's really bothering me. Cool, cool. All right, so it looks like we have a lot of mid 20s to mid 30s. That's probably the age range. And let me check what my analytics are going to tell me. So maybe I'll show some of the analytics data also. They recently changed a lot of the analytics, the dashboard stuff on YouTube. So it's really hard to tell like what the hell is going on now. Analytics, build an audience. Okay. What can I show on this page here? Okay, so everything looks cool. You know, nothing too personal. So I guess I'll slide this in. Not that I really care about this data, and there's nothing too like personal about this data anyways. But we have, let's see, we have gender, male, 92.9%. You know, that's not super surprising to me, at least. Let me just pull this in a little bit. 58 years young. Yeah, definitely. We have a senior 26-year-old. How old am I? So take a guess as to how old you think I am. A lot of you guys probably know already. But we have, let's see, top countries. We have 22% from the United States. It looks like, yeah, it looks like we're right. Mid 20s to mid 30s is basically the largest audience demographic for the channel currently. We have a good number from 18 to 24, which is the typical college student age range, right? And let's see, we have a couple of guesses coming in. I think you are 32, so that's not correct. 34, 26, 31. Wow. So a lot of people are quite close. We have 35 you mentioned in the Tinder course. Awesome. So yeah, I am an 84 baby. So if you make the calculation from 84 to right now, you'll find the correct age. But yeah, what else is down here? India, so that looks good. What else is in this thing that I can show? Earned revenue. You know, the channel makes about like $800 a month, which is pretty non-substantial, but you know, that's what it's doing. I don't know if you guys are interested in that type of data. But yeah, okay, well, that's kind of the data for now. Let me just move that out of the way. And yeah, today I just wanted to check in on what's going on with everyone. I know normally we don't really talk about anything too important on these live streams, but that's the age range. Okay, so here's the second question that I wanted to ask you guys. I want to know, question number 2. And let's see, bump this up a little bit. What do you do exactly? Because I know from the age range of 18 to 24 is mostly, you know, people in college and studying things like computer science and whatnot. But what exactly do you do if you are not a student, right? A lot of the people on the channel, they come from a wide range of different backgrounds. So we have computer science graduates, we have professionals working as software developers. We just have a lot of different people, which is great. It's always nice to have a wide range of, you know, in terms of demographic. So we have a high school student with Kwang Nguyen. So full-time senior iOS developer from Jafar Barak. Nice. It's a lot of students. And ex-iOS developer, so game development now. I really give my props and respect to game developers. It's something that I grew up trying to become, but later on in life I just realized it was really difficult, and this is not as easy compared to regular iOS development and regular website back-end development. Game development is really hard. You know, not to deter any of you guys from becoming game developers, I just know that you have to put in a lot of time and way too much effort, actually. So Internet of Things developers, students, high school, data analyst from Bloomberg, hoping to switch to software and engineering. Nice. I hope you have, you know, success in making that change and jumping into a different industry. I would say that data analysis is maybe it's something that I would probably study now if I went to college. Yeah, so we got some computer science students, iOS developers, computer science. We have a student that does some freelancing, post-grad student programming as a hobby, 28, software engineer, working on iOS apps using Objective-C and now starting with Swift. Okay, cool. Gregory Covert. Is that really your last name, Covert? There's no way that's your last name, right? Pharmaceutical chemist. 25, iOS developer and CSS student. We have Chris Peragin, Chris Peragini, Peragini. Yeah, one of those. I hope I hit the correct pronunciation with that. Professional just out of school in June, designing apps to track the onset of Alzheimer's. Wow, very noble cause that you're working on. I kind of miss developing applications really. Using research kit type of survey is nice, and simple games using OpenGL. OpenGL is really hard, I find. But once you understand the foundation of how to use OpenGL, some of the shaders, the graphics pipeline, it becomes really fun. But the learning curve in OpenGL is really steep. So anyone that can do it, I find that they're probably pretty smart and intelligent. It is Gregory Covert. It is your last name. How do you end up with the last name of Covert? What kind of last name is that? That's so awesome. Covert. I'm going to change my name to just Covert. How about that? Okay. I'm from 84, Denmark, doing iOS. Little Java backend. Nice. Recently graduated, looking for iOS job. If you... Peragine. Cool. Yeah. I feel kind of a little bit of a sympathy for people that are not in the Silicon Valley, because if you were here, a lot of good opportunity to work as an iOS developer. Actually, a lot of different software jobs available here. So you can take your butt from where you are right now to Silicon Valley. Could be a lot easier, maybe. What do I think of Scala from Shaki? So Scala. Did I ever learn Scala, or was it something else? I tried to learn something similar to Scala, and it just drove me crazy. I couldn't understand it. Documentation just sucked horribly. So whenever that happens, it's hard to follow what the F is going on. Yeah, that's what's great about Swift, right? You have a lot of resources, such as this amazing, awesome channel that exposes a lot of the different things that you can do with Swift, and it's very similar to Objective-C. But yeah, just having a large community of available, easy to follow resources, such as me or Ray Wennerlich or whoever else out there, just makes it so much easier to. It makes the entire language very inviting to newcomers. Okay, student looking. Ooh, let me get to this one right here. What more, man? Okay, 20 technician at Apple service provider. Cool. Learning Swift besides that. Nice. Okay, so R. Dalton. Okay, I'm guessing your first name is Rich or something. Just left my job as an iOS developer to start my own business. Thanks for your help over the years. Nice. So when you say over the years, then that sounds very, it kind of dates how old this channel is. I mean, I can't really believe that I've been doing this for 3 years, ever since 2015. And if you take, let me see if I can show you the video stats here. So hopefully nothing too personal about these video stats. Okay, well, there's nothing really that interesting here. Actually, I have a video queued up for tomorrow at 7 a.m. and it's gonna be about drawing, the Draw Something app. You guys will find out tomorrow morning when you wake up, or whenever you get the notification. But yeah, I think I have about 300 videos on this channel. It's kind of insane if you think about it. Okay, 34 chemical engineering, iOS developer, learning Kotlin right now. Any plans on Core ML tutorials? Probably not. This is an amazing, awesome channel. I've learned a lot. Thank you, Brian. You're welcome. Fernando Montes de Oca. Oca? But need more unit test based tutorials. Yeah. Adam Kirk. You are correct, Mr. Kirk. I agree. I know when I was doing unit testing for the very first time, man, I found it hard. I mean, I understand how to do unit testing now, but I feel like to teach the topic, you really have to, you need to be pretty like versed. Is that a word? You need to be well versed in the logic that goes into preparing unit tests and what you actually have to integrate within your tests. Man, it's more work than like developing the app. That's why most people hate doing it. 16, I've been coding for 4 years in Java. I'm just getting stuff down. Cool. Hey, just ordered a MacBook Pro, so I'm getting ready. Nice. Cool. Man, a lot of really good, smart people. You know, one of the things that I really like about this channel and the audience on this channel is most of you guys are really smart people. And, you know, for the most part, there's nothing super toxic going on. Like, everyone's really encouraging here. Like, I make a lot of mistakes on my videos, and no one seems to be really mean-spirited about some of the mistakes that I make. And that's awesome. I really appreciate everyone being so welcoming and just non-disruptive. I really hate going into other people's channels and seeing all these mean comments in the comment section. And yeah, just I do appreciate everyone being so nice here. Okay, I'm gonna have a hard time pronouncing this name. This is Shuno. If you pronounce this in Chinese, this is Shun. Yeah. Shuno. Exuano. We'll call you Exuano. I was working as an architect when I decided to try programming. Nice. Now I'm working as a junior iOS developer. Thanks for your help. Cool. I certainly hope you enjoy iOS development a lot more than being an architect. I feel like there's a brighter future in software development. So, I mean, I think you made the right choice. So hopefully, yeah, I definitely think you made the right choice. I mean, who wants to be an architect? Unless you're an iOS architect. That's what you really want to be. Cool. All right, so please do a course on RX Swift. You know, I actually don't really, I don't know if I like RX Swift all that much. I like some of the ideas and the concepts behind RX Swift, but I feel like the framework in that library it's a little overkill. But I do like it a lot. It's overkill, but it's okay. Okay, so on to question number 3. So I just kind of thought of this question, but I'm actually really curious. Question number 3. What machine are you working on? Okay, so we'll minimize these just so people can see what the hell we're doing here. And so I currently, for a lot of you guys that don't know, I am working on a custom Mac. So this custom Mac is very, very custom. I put all the parts together, and it's faster than what you can purchase from the Apple Store. So a lot of you guys probably can take a guess as to what it is. Wow. Okay. Okay, you guys are giving like fantastic answers. So we got MacBook. Is there a MacBook model, or are there only MacBook Pros? I'm not sure what a MacBook is if it doesn't have a Pro to it. So MacBook Pros are the laptops, 15-inch. Okay. So we have, wow, the new 2018 15-inch MacBook Pro. I'm actually looking to buy one of those for like $3,500. I don't know if I'm going to do it, but if I can get my hands on one, that'd be amazing. 2016, 2015 MacBook Pro. Looks like a lot of you guys are on MacBook Pros. which is good. Farouk Academy. I'm an account manager for a software company and also I have my own YouTube channel. Farouk Academy for iOS web programming, and Happy New Year to Brian. Wish you all the best. A sincere human. Try to be a sincere human. Being that is good. MacBook Air as well. I remember teaching my students that were using MacBook Airs in the boot camps. So slow. Lord. Trying to write some code and then going back into the storyboard, hitting the compile, running it, waiting for the simulator to launch. Lord. That whole thing would take like 30 seconds before you can see, like before the code would even compile. And then I remember I just told the student, like, just send me the code in the email and I'll compile it on my MacBook Pro. It'll be a lot faster. 27 13-inch max spec MacBook Pro at work. 2018 30-inch MacBook Pro. So probably super standard and nothing exciting. Yeah. Nice. I would like to ask, if you're using a 13-inch MacBook Pro, is the reason why you don't have a 15-inch MacBook Pro, is it because the extra 2 inches means that it's that much heavier and harder to carry around? Because, like, to me, I find that the 15-inch is big, but sacrificing those 2 extra inches, because 2 extra inches is very important, right? The screen size is what I'm referring to. The screen size I find is a big sacrifice. Can you tell us the specs of your Mac? Can I? It's probably better if I use the PC Picker website. What is it called? PC Parts Picker? Okay, so let's see if we can do this. All right, tell us the specs of your Mac. Okay, we have a lot of good questions. I don't really want to ignore the questions right now, but let's kind of pick the parts for my computer. So choose the CPU. I have, where's the filter? So I have an 8700. Okay, so this is what I have. OEM tray. I don't know what an OEM tray means. I haven't really I haven't used this site in a while, so I apologize if I suck at it. Can I just add it? Where's the add button? No, yeah, it's right there, obviously. Okay, it looks like the price is still at the same price I bought it at a year ago. So I got the cooler from my brother, which was free. And what is this motherboard? It's on the box. Okay. I have HD3. I have one of these bad boys. Memory. I think I have 16 gigs of RAM here. Okay. No, actually I have 32 gigs of RAM. What am I talking about? 16 gigs? That's not enough. I have 32 gigs of RAM. Okay, so 16. I think I have one of these like G-Skill ones. I don't know exactly what the model is. How much do these things cost? How much did I buy it for? I think I bought it for like $300. So let's choose something like this one, Ripjaws. Okay, so that's what we have so far. Storage, I have a 1 terabyte. What is, I think this is a Corsair brand. Corsair. Is that what happened? Did my internet break? It's Corsair not a thing. Maybe it's a Samsung. Like, why is this thing not working? Samsung. Weird. Okay, I have something that's kind of like this. I think I bought it for like $300. $970. No, I think I have the 860. Something like that. Let's just say that. It's been a year since I picked up all these parts. So I don't know what the hell's going on anymore. Yeah. And that's pretty much it. These are the important parts that you need to buy. I have a NVIDIA video card. I don't know what model it is because it's not mine. My brother just gave it to me. That's basically it. Why am I not using Mac OS Mojave? Because I've been too lazy to upgrade or update the new OS. Cool. All right, so nice to know that you guys, the extra 2 inches aren't worth a loss in portability. Yeah. Use my Hackintosh for tasks requiring more space and power. Yep. I rarely use my MacBook Pro anymore. It's just way too slow. It's like a 2013 MacBook Pro. Like fully spec'd out, $2,500 at the time. The newer Macs are now so overpriced that I really don't want to buy and upgrade for my 2015. Same, I feel the same way. Macs have always had a premium, but now it's getting ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah, imagine spending $7,000 on an iMac Pro. You do get a 4K screen with it, which is nice. But yeah, not really worth it. And live in Brazil, prices big jump from 13 to 15. Oh, I didn't know that. The 15-inch had the touch bar, which added $400 to the cost, and I didn't really care too much for the touch bar, so I went with 13-inch. Oh yeah, I would actually prefer not to have the touch bar. I like my physical function F keys. Farouk Academy. By the way, I bought your Tinder course and it is very good. Thanks a lot. Well, thank you, Farouk. Glad you enjoyed it. Cool. Okay, so I have a couple of more questions that I want to fire off here, and then I'll probably sign out. And I just wanted to ask you guys, what was your first programming language? So I'm gonna assume that not a lot of you guys studied Swift as your first programming language, so maybe knowing this information would be a little helpful to my teaching style. Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are fully familiar with the way I go through these lessons by now. There's nothing special. We just build out our projects from scratch. We have C++, Java. So I wouldn't be surprised if most people started off with Java from universities. I studied C as my first programming language in school, and then I studied ActionScript 2.0 in high school, but that doesn't really count. Swift, Pascal. I never actually learned Pascal. PHP, C#. We have a lot of Java. Professionally with Swift, yeah. Professionally for me, I think I did C# with .NET 2010 or something. 2008, I think. .NET 2008. Actually, Pascal. Why do you guys study Pascal? Is it because of the requirements of your universities? Is that why Pascal is so popular here? In the United States, we tend to study Java. So yeah, we got a lot of Pascal people. Swift, JavaScript, Node, React, TypeScript, Kotlin, and Rust. Yeah. If you were to count how many languages, programming languages that you know, how many do you think you actually know? And when I say know, I mean you've actually built a working project with. Like for me, it'd be about 5 or 6. You know, I'm talking about, you know how to create classes and write your loops, build like an entire MVC structure with it. Because, you know, everyone knows how to write hello world in some simple language. Raul says my first language is Java. Yeah, basic. Visual Basic. I think I missed out on the basic generation. Okay, good. Learn Python first. DOS and Basic to be more precise. From Mujtaba Mahmood. Man, I remember using DOS in the Windows 3.1 days. JavaScript followed by Swift. Yeah, so if I were to guess what everyone's first language was, I would first guess Java, and then I would say something like maybe C#, and then JavaScript would be up there too. But yeah, I'm surprised about Pascal being so popular here. For me, it was PHP. Okay, for me, it was PHP. Let's go. Pascal is popular in Russia. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Senior iOS developer and Laravel professionally. Nice. Laravel is the PHP MVC framework for people that don't know. That might be an oversimplification, but that's my understanding of it. 29, started programming, PHP, C#, nice, Java. So we have 3 languages that you know confidently. Studied Pascal in school. At college, I did Java, now PHP. Yeah. What is my favorite programming language and why? This is a really hard question to answer. Because obviously it really depends on what you're building towards. If you're building a mobile app, right, probably Swift. Like for iOS, you only have 2 options. And, you know, right now it's mostly Swift. If you're building an Android app, I would say Kotlin is much easier to write. And then if you're building a backend, so, you know, if you have to choose a backend language to go with, I think Node is okay. It's the most accessible one for people that are just learning how to get into programming. And then once you get the basics of Node and request processing, you want to move on to something else. Like I think the developers of Node, they quit their job or they decided to get into the Golang language. So I don't know what that really means. Kotlin, Java, Android. Sinlock. I am waiting for your online streaming since a month. Are you able to make any tutorial for writing on DXF file drawing to interchange format required for AutoCAD? Oh. Yeah, I've never worked with that, but so in high school in America, so we're so broad. In a lot of different high schools, you'll have for your senior year, you are going to have some options to pick like what kind of programming class you want to take. And I spent some time learning AutoCAD in my senior year, which is, I don't know, 20 years ago maybe. And I really like it. I really like applications that do that assisted drawing stuff. I would feel convenient or confident with Java, C, PHP, Ruby. So we have PHP and Ruby, so two like backend languages. Adam Kirk says 7. Okay. Wow, a lot of good interaction with you guys today. I like the chat. Also show the power of not using storyboards with dependency injection. I'm sorry, I always request new tutorials because you make them seem easy. Do you guys think that programming is easy after you watch the videos? I mean, to me the process of learning programming it's just repetitive now. You do the Google research and you find the code, assemble it together, and there you go. There's your app. Like, unless you're building out something that's super complicated, that's usually the process. OOP principles, of course. So the main difference I find with people that haven't studied computer science in college and the people that have studied computer science is that object-oriented programming comes easier for the students that have actually studied it. But at the same time, you have people that have never studied academically computer science, and they're even better at architecting apps, using all of the object-oriented programming principles correctly. So, yeah. And like for me, I studied a lot of like computer science classes, and it never really hit me what object-oriented programming was used for until like 3 or 4 years into my professional career. It's weird. When you're in college, you're just studying a bunch of like shit that eventually you'll use in your everyday life. But while you're studying it, you're like, what the F am I studying this for? It is totally useless for me right now. That's the problem with colleges. But that's a discussion left for another day. Okay, learn PHP. Apparently a lot of schools are switching over to Python as their starter from Chris Peragine. Switching over to Python. I don't know if I totally agree with that, but I don't think it's a bad idea. I would say having programmed for more than a decade, I don't think it really matters what language you start out with anyways. Python's as great of a language as any, really. I think currently the over-reliance on Java is a problem. I have a C++ book for about 10 years called Learn C++ in 21 Days. That's ironic. Okay, nice. Wish to be like this guy one day. When I was studying to be like a programmer, there weren't a lot of resources online where, someone showed you exactly how to build out something. And nowadays, you want to know how to program in a certain language, build out this feature here. It's all available online. It's so amazing. Yeah. I remember in the year like 2006, 2007, just searching the internet for days trying to find answers, and just wasn't available. And especially now, everything's in video format, making it even easier to access. So that's awesome. I think that's awesome. Advice on getting internships? No, not really. I actually didn't get any internships when I was in college, so I'm not the best person to talk to about getting those. Kotlin versus Swift? I don't know. They're totally different. C++ was boring for me. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so that's... Hey Brian, you seriously rock. So Adrian Evanson. Yep, I used Node in the beginning, but moved on and now love Go for the backend. Yep, me too. They share many of the same principles. Go just executes them better. I never really learned Node in the very beginning. I learned Node later on, and I started out with a lot of different backend languages, but I stuck with Go, and it's so amazingly fast. And also being strictly typed. That's kind of why I stuck with Go. Okay, so we are at 40 minutes. I'll probably check out in like 20 minutes and start actually doing real work. Okay, so I have a couple of different questions that I want to go over. So I think I understand where everybody's first programming language is by now. No YouTube then, had to use manuals, libraries, and Barnes & Nobles. Oh man, whenever I walked through the Barnes & Noble shops, I would always walk past the programming aisles. And in America, there's this store called Fry's, and they also have a large computer science and programming section in their books aisle. And man, I used to just flip through a lot of their like development manuals and how to program in like C# and Flash, ActionScript, and Java. Those books were thick. You used to call those books like the Red Bible. And I don't know, they're like 500, 600 pages. You can literally sit down the whole day and you still wouldn't be able to finish that book. But yeah. It's so interesting how things have changed in just a short amount of time. Like in the span of 10 years, all of that information is now so much easier to find on the internet. And it's also easier to like conceptually understand things. And I feel like things are gonna just continually get better over the next 10 years too. Things are moving so rapidly. And the acceleration of information being put online is at a point where, man, it's amazing to live in the day of 2019. Okay, so next question, I am going to ask, this is kind of more broad, I would say. So, okay, and the question is, what project do you want to build for 2019? And this is just for you guys and not me. So, I'm not really referring to courses or anything. Just what is it that you want to build out for 2019? What is your idea of like the perfect application that you want to work on? Because when I was growing up, that's a weird thing to say. I'm still growing. I think I really wanted to get into video game development. Like, honestly and seriously, I wanted to get into game design, graphics programming, game mechanics, logic behind what makes a game fun and engaging. I wanted to do all that, but somehow now I ended up being a YouTube video personality. Not what I expected. So what's this? Justin Scarborough. For some reason, YouTube doesn't like that you're 27 years old and a full-time Android dev with iOS. 2016. See, a lot of people have 15-inch MacBook Pros. That's what I would expect from a lot of people. It's just easier to work on that screen, but if it costs you extra $400 to get the 2 inches, because the 2 inches, you know, it's the difference between the screen size. Okay, so we have work with a medical supply startup, video streaming service, and a good chat like Telegram. I don't think I've ever used Telegram. Social media app, text only. Cloud kit for Firebase. Cloud kit for Firebase. Oh, should I use Cloud Kit? I don't know. Is Cloud Kit free? Cloud Kit's free, right? I think they offer a really broad feature set for the free version of Cloud Kit. I was looking at Firebase, their cost and, you know, the usage calculation cost tool. I think Firebase actually gets really expensive, but you can always buy the $20 plan per month. Okay. I'd like to work on games with audio functionality. Cool. Portfolio app with a lot of common features using best practices, reactive programming with Flutter or native for both. Yeah. Lots of AR, something like Ecosia. So I don't know what Ecosia is. Making a small side project. Yeah, it looks like AR. Java, Kotlin, 2019. I'm 41, coding for passion. In the future, I hope become a job. Well, I hope you get a job, and not. I hope that you don't become a job. So I saw a dating app up there somewhere. So her Nephilim. I want to finish and publish an iOS app. Recently started, just finished the backend services and want to go on, but not much spare time because of work and the wife and so on. Yeah. Both work and the wife. They do take a lot of time to manage and maintain. Oh, Debian. Okay. 41, coding for passion. In the future, hope to become a job. Reminds them to do their damn chores. Build an app to manage their flatmates to help them do their chores. Yeah, that'd be sweet. So Melissa Ramos, what project would I advise for you guys to do? So there's a lot of different stages to learning iOS development, right? First, you have to get the basics of, you know, writing for loops and using arrays and in Swift programming. Once you tackle that aspect of iOS development, you probably just want to get very, very comfortable with like table views, collection views, and whatnot. 99% of apps are that. And then once you have the UI kit fundamentals down, you're going to want to build something like the Instagram social media application. If you want to learn how to do that, there's a course link down in the description below. And the reason why I recommend building out something like Instagram is because it will then help you get exposed to what a database should somewhat look like, and how to tie like IDs together with users, and like post objects with other users, and how to follow each other. And so once you understand how that works in a general way, then you're ready to actually work on a project for a company, I think. GG. Hey Brian, one question. Would you prefer to save data with core data while using the app, or only if app closed? Any chances to lose data if I save the data if app closed? So I would recommend that you save the data as frequently as you can into core data. That way, whenever the app is closed, you don't have to do any last second saving. All the data should be saved as soon as you have the opportunity to save it, right? So whenever your processes aren't taken up by heavy calculation, just do the saving as soon as you can. iMac Pro 2018. So if you have an iMac Pro, okay, here's another question. If you bought your iMac or your MacBook Pros personally by yourself, how much money did you spend on it? Well, that's really hard to say because things are relatively more expensive in other countries. I think the United States have the cheapest MacBook Pro. The pricing tiers are the cheapest here, I think. I think all in all, the Hackintosh that I have is, I think I spent like $1,000 or $1,500 on it. Okay, and yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today's video. If you have any last minute questions, go ahead and chime in. 25K in Poland. I can't really convert that into dollars. Justin Scarborough says that I would say my 15-inch MacBook Pro was around $3,100. Oh, man. That's not that bad, actually. Now that I think about it, $3,100. Yeah, that's not that bad. Sounds expensive, not that bad. Oh, okay. So here's Vane Regrets Cloud Kit slider. Let's see. Oh, okay. So let's see. Here's the Cloud Kit slider. Public database, so this is just CloudKit, and description as to what the services do. You have your CloudKit dashboard that looks like that if you eventually set it up, and once you get everything working with the docs there, you can kind of see that you can reach more users for free. Here's the free tier: 10 gigs of asset storage, 100 megabyte of database usage, which is plenty for storing things like strings and numbers. 2 gigs of data transfer. That sounds very low. 2 gigs of data transfer? That sounds... Is this the database? Yeah, this makes more sense if it's the database. If you're trying to serve your assets, you'll burn through 2 gigs, and you can burn through that in like a minute. 40 requests per second. Yeah, that's enough. Active users, 4 million. So total cost of this is 0. So when does this value change? Does it ever change? Is it always $0? Something's wrong with the total cost calculator at the bottom. Okay. Ooh. Okay, so Jonathan Douglas, how do you get your mic to sound so smooth? Or is it just the voice? So, Jonathan, I do plan on making a video on how I make these tutorials. Sounds kind of meta, but eventually I'll talk about my camera setup, which I've already talked about before on the channel, and I want to talk about the mic setup also. And I guess I can do a very quick demo of some of the parts that I used. So here is just, a standard boom arm. So, you get your boom arm. And the nice thing about the boom arm is that you can attach one of these, what is this thing called again? It's a sound dampener for all of the vibrations that it absorbs all the shakes for the mic, right? It's pretty much a harness for the mic. And this is a Rode NT1, maybe NT1A or NT1. And that's pretty much it. It's plugged in through this I've already forgotten what these cables are called, but there's the really thick microphone cables. I have no idea what it's called. Yeah, it's called the shock mount. And it's plugged into a Scarlett Focusrite Scarlett DAC. Is that called a DAC? I have no idea what these things are called anymore. And it's plugged into a DAC, into USB, into the Mac, and that's pretty much it. I used to, so for the stream, the sound is just me talking into the mic. There's no, it's an XLR. It's an XLR cable. And that's it. Normally for the videos that I record for the YouTube channel, I go through a equalizing post-processing effects layer that gets added on through Adobe Audition. And I have some filters set up already, and it just takes 2 seconds to apply those filters. Then I import it into Premiere, and then I put the sound, I synchronize the sound together, and that's the process. In the beginning, figuring out how to do all that was no, it wasn't hard, but it just takes time to get takes a while to figure out the configuration that you need, and once you have it, you just hit the button every time and you get the same effect. So yeah, I think it helps, especially for these super long ass YouTube videos, that the audio sounds decent. You don't want to listen to a hollow mic. You don't want to hear echoes. You don't want to hear honking noises in the back. And the reason why this mic is so good is because what do they call it? The floor? Is it the floor? Basically, it doesn't capture anything other than what you're saying in front of the mic. So that's what I like about it. So David says, where do you save all your videos? So do I have a custom server or something like that? So David, I currently save all of my videos on just a couple of external hard drives. I don't really want to get into putting things inside of an external server, but that's how things work. Eventually I'll get something more sophisticated, but for now, I try to make the video sizes as small as possible too. So I used to record onto the SD card in the camera right here, but I don't do that anymore for a couple of reasons. The first reason is because I hate taking out the SD card out of the camera, because you physically have to reach over. It gets old after a while. So after the first year and a half, I gave that up. And what I do now is I just simply record, I just record myself through the QuickTime player, like what you're seeing right now. There's a slight delay, but you can account for that in post-processing. And I just record this directly into the video. And that makes the video about, I would say 1.5 gigabytes when I'm finished recording. And that makes it a lot easier to store things on these external drives. If I ever need to edit anything, then I just have to edit one file or maybe 2 files with the audio source. I don't have to put like 5 layers together just to re-edit a video. Not that I re-edit videos that often. Morgan Cheng. Do you still work at a company, or is YouTube your full-time gig? Yeah, I pretty much do YouTube full-time. And it's a nice gig to just do YouTube and work on as many different projects as I want. You know, I can wake up and do one thing or do something else. It's good to have freedom. Nikolai Dutskinov. Just wanted to thank you for the amazing tutorials you are making. Mainly thanks to you, I've started a job as a iOS dev using Swift. Cool. You know, I get so many comments from people saying that because of the channel, they were able to land, you know, this job at, you know, company XYZ. And, you know, programming is not that hard. You just have to have one person show you some of the different ways of building out a certain feature. And once you see how this person does it, you can really latch on to his like methodologies. And then it becomes very easy to like Google search for other solutions that are kind of similar, and you start working with other people's solutions. And for the most part, all of the answers out there are kind of similar. It just takes like that one person to show you how to do it. And hopefully I can serve you guys in that regard. I just want to be that one person that is helping you navigate in the right direction. And this is why I focus primarily on programming with code, and I avoid the storyboard. Like, I don't care if you use storyboard, but I really do care that you're learning how to program, how to read code line by line, because that's ultimately what's going to help you. If you don't know how to read code, then you're screwed no matter what, right? And that's what I really want to help you guys out with. Learn how to read code, learn how someone types out code, and don't be so scared of what the code is going to do. Like, you're obviously not going to understand the code for the first couple of minutes. It's not that hard. Do I have any published apps? So I was spending like a good couple of days working on an application that is able to play like videos from the courses on my website. I actually have a working prototype, but I don't know if I can actually, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, because it seems to be a lot of work. I get really scared when something is a lot of work. Where is this app? Unless I don't have it up. But yeah, eventually I'll and I also want to release like a Swift programming guide app. And I was thinking every day I can put a new post on the app to help you guys understand how to program in Swift a little better. I don't know if that's actually that interesting though. Maybe a Swift interview question a day, and then I'll send out a notification maybe once a week, or maybe maybe 3 times a week. I can send a push notification, and the question's gonna come up. You just tap on it, and then you get the question. And then if you want the answer, you'll have to pay. It's an in-app purchase payment for each solution. How about that? That way I can actually have incentive to make the app good. Maybe $1 per solution. That seems reasonable, right? Yeah. Yeah. For the most part, I don't really care about the money, but it's the motivation that I need to actually build a good product. So for people that don't understand like building out a business, if you don't have the incentive or the motivation to do that one thing, then you just won't do it. Yeah, Happy New Year, Prashant. Happy New Year to you. Is it possible to make a video that goes over git post delete request, as this is a basic requirement for every project? Maybe. I think I might do that in a really good paid course on the website. I think you can find a lot of the information that you need on Google, obviously, right? Am I planning on writing a book? No, I don't think so. I don't read books myself, so that's kind of why I don't like writing books. Like, I read a lot of stuff online, but maybe I'll release a digital book, kind of like what Sean did, Sean Allen. Which one is better to study, computer science or ICT at sixth form? I have no idea what ICT is. I have no idea what sixth form is. Is that like the 6th year in college? Flutter 1.0 seems interesting. Oh, so 30-year-old software engineer, worked most of my life as a customer service rep, and it has been difficult to get here. Yeah. But you know, once you're here, you're good. I worked as software support engineer as my very first job out of college. I did a lot of programming there, but that wasn't my primary job. So yeah, there was a lot of customer service involved, like helping people troubleshoot how to use our software. And I felt like it was a lot of fun. It was a good learning experience for me. Am I open to working on special projects with companies that I see potential in? So that's always something that I would get into. But yeah, it really depends. If there is potential in it, then yeah, maybe I'll do it. That was the reason why you bought a Mac and started developing. Great. I hope your investment in the Mac doesn't go to waste. John Wilson. What is this? Tiago. What is this? Let's see what it is first. Objective C count. Wow. Wow. That's really fancy. Yeah, go check this out, guys. Huh, I like the themes. I like the coloring. I like the font. I like the buttons, how they're so large. Yeah, I like it. For people that are developing iOS apps, you really want to make sure that you provide good like visual design. And if an app is ugly, like if you don't know if your app is ugly or not, just show it to like 1 or 2 different people and they'll tell you if it's ugly. And if it's ugly, you should definitely fix it. So I think this app looks great. There are some minor things I would change, but overall I like it. But you know, it looks clean, especially this iPad Pro version. Cool. Yo, so Daniel Walker asks, okay, so Esteban is asking when I started coding. It's been a while, like 15 years ago, maybe even more. Is it frustrating that it takes so much effort to create content around programming? I'd love to start a channel teaching code, but I can't think of a way to make good content fast. I think it's hard to get into anything in the very beginning. just find a way that makes the job fun. If it's not fun for you, then you're not going to want to go back to doing it. Yeah. So for me, making these videos, it's not the most fun thing in the world, but I enjoy it. Max Codes, watch your UI view property animator video yesterday. Good stuff. Yeah. You don't find a lot of good material on UI view property animator, but once you understand how to use it, it's extremely powerful. Bro, my content is weak. Just put up basic stuff like I'm doing. Soon I'll be putting up more advanced stuff. Just got to build that initial following. Yeah. Once you get going and you establish the processes, you establish the processes that allow you to be productive and pump out content in a fast and efficient way. You know, you really have to work at that. It's not really like what you produce, it's the process that allows you to get your final product. And if you can't work on that process, then it's not going to work out. That's what I find. My apps look great now because of the auto layout guide series. I would recommend to everyone watching. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so last question for the day, because we're already at an hour. I'm going to give my last opinion on what I think about coding boot camps. Okay, so let me close out that. And I do want to thank everyone for answering today's questions. It really does help me a lot. Okay, so I'm going to cover half the screen here. And last question of the day before I sign out. So what do I think about coding boot camps? And I guess I'll wrap this in a more general, broader question of what the hell happened to our educational system that has kind of forced our citizens into this secondary postgraduate place called a coding boot camp, right? And down here it says Max. Oh, Max, you used to work at a coding boot camp and now you're not working anymore. So I every time I look at your Instagram stories, it looks like you're working somewhere. Just can't really tell what it is. Now, I think coding boot camps are an interesting place for you to invest your time if you're ready for it. When I was teaching a boot camp, we had, I think, 30 students sign up for the boot camp. On the first day, we evaluated everyone, you know, even after a pre-evaluation exam that they took. They came on site, and then we told about 10 of them to we told them this boot camp isn't going to be right for you. The $10,000 that you're investing for the next 8 weeks, it's probably not going to be worth your money. So we told those students to just, you know, find a different path or come back later, you know, for another session like in the future. And we only had about 15 students graduate that particular boot camp. So I think if you're ready, then you should definitely do it. But if you're not, I would recommend against going into a coding boot camp. And I guess what I really mean is you have to really give up everything in your life. Like literally, you don't have time to watch TV. You don't have time to slack off. You barely have time to sleep. And once you're ready for that, then I think they are a valuable resource and very bad for others. Okay, Gabriel says you're working with scroll views. So I do have a scroll view keyboard project that I have available in the Tinder course. I don't know if you're in the Tinder course yet, but I'll make that video available on that Tinder course somewhat in the future. They don't really like that I'm making content since that's what I did for them. I made a 6-app React course for them, really long curriculum. Kind of bothered me because I know I can make much more on my own. Why don't you? Okay, so max codes. It's kind of funny because when I was teaching at the boot camp in California, I didn't let them know that I was running a YouTube channel. But at the time, I only had about 5,000 users and subscribers on that channel. So it's not like it really mattered, but I had about, I don't know, 30 videos on it already. So that's kind of what I did. It was kind of flying under the radar, and it's not that it really bothered them in the slightest. But I can see how a company wouldn't really like having a teacher produce similar content on their own platform. But yeah, once you start seeing the numbers for what you can make, then it kind of changes your perspective on whether being an employee is good or not. Okay. All right, Chang Jeffrey, nice to see you join in for the chat. I'm gonna check out of the live stream for now. I'll probably see you next week. What is it, January 2nd? I do wish everyone a happy new year. And 2019 is going to be exciting. I'm really looking forward to everything that I'll be working on. And I'll see you guys sometime soon. Bye, guys.